It is 7:01 on Monday, June 8th. I'm going to call this meeting to order at this time. We have approximately 14 people who are on this webinar. So this meeting is authorized to be held virtually under Act 15, which was signed by the governor on April 20th. We are going to continue these meetings. As you may have noted, the Chester County went from red to yellow, but that does not affect the emergency declaration, which was extended, I believe, 60 days. Under the emergency declaration, it gives us the ability to hold these meetings virtually online, since our administration building continues to be closed to the public. We are going to continue these meetings virtually for the time being. So moving on to the agenda. The board has the meeting minutes from May 26, 2020. Do I have any comments or questions on the minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of May 26, 2020?
So moved.
Second.
Rebecca made the motion, Rick seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I should indicate also that on the board the full board is present on this meeting, along with our township manager and our solicitor, who are all present on the meeting. Bills, we had bills totaling $68,521, and bills paid, payroll and paid bills since the last meeting of $111,587. Do I have any questions from the board on the bills? Hearing none, do I have any comments or questions on the bills from the public? I believe everybody has been here before. You know to unmute yourself if you have any questions and just speak up. Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion to pay the $68,521 and acknowledge the $111,587 of paid bills and payrolls since our latest meeting?
So moved.
Oh, that was a close one. I think Harvey had it first, and
No, that was Rick.
Rick made the motion. Spencer, was that you second?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have a motion and a second to all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. And unanimously approved. Developers bills. Any comments on the developers bills?
The only one I have is that we were scheduled to talk about Bentley tonight, but that's been taken off the agenda. There's an outstanding balance of $4,500 and change, and they have zero in their escrow account. So I was wondering if this could be addressed.
Yes, I'll reach out and follow up on that outstanding bill, as that plan hopefully is nearing approval, but that needs to be handled or otherwise the escrow replenished.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
That bill does include a replenish to the escrow. So that's partially a bill.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Kelly.
Okay. Any other comments on the developers bills? Okay, we're going to move on into subdivision and land development. As Rick just noted, the Bentleys have requested that this matter be delayed. Erica, you want to fill us in?
Sure. At the last meeting, we had discussed the Planning Commission's recommendation for plan approval, and there were a few items that are still outstanding for the Bentleys and their engineer to sort through and follow up on for the board. So they're working on those items. They do have an extension that will be required for the plan if they're unable to make the, to be scheduled for an advertisement for the plan approval for the June 22nd meeting. So we will, I'll maintain communication with them, and we'll look to list it for June 22nd. And if they need a plan extension and additional time, or if they have if they're prepared to come before the board with that final recommendation for approval, then we'll do that.
Okay, very good. I thank you for that. Next on the agenda is the Artisan subdivision plan. Let me just see if I can pull it up here. Erica, I didn't get a summary this week, so if you want to give us a heads up on the details of this.
Sure. The Artisan Construction Group is now representing the owner, Jay Whistler, 1530 South Hanover Street. This property, as I understand, there was a sketch plan submitted previously for the property, and I believe it was a higher amount, probably, I want to say, I don't want to misspeak, but 100 to 200 apartments. I think that came down after some discussions initially with the initial sketch plan for the development of this property. Artisan Group has contacted the township, or the owner and the Artisan Group. They're being represented by Michael Murray. And I had been in touch today. I'm not sure if anybody from the Artisan Group is on representing the applicant this evening, but they do, in submitting this sketch plan, they would like to set up a pre-application meeting, do this before a subdivision application is officially submitted as a initial preliminary step. I do understand that through the existing zoning, that a zoning overlay would be proposed as part of this development as well from the applicant side to help move this forward. So it is, they are seeking the input, that preliminary feedback from the board, of course, the Planning Commission and the public. So as part of the subdivision and land development ordinance, that first step of this new sketch plan is this pre-application meeting. So first they, have asked to have the this plan, which is 60 single-family homes, which is different than what had been previously, I think, approach to the township in months past, which is a change in the density, the layout, and come before the township to discuss this new proposal. Is there anyone here tonight from the Artisan Group?
It does not.
Okay.
It does not appear to be.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No.
Okay. They were looking to have this acknowledged, work with the board to have us this pre-application staff meeting, excuse me, and move forward with the review. We would have to, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
These are single-family detached dwellings, correct?
Right.
Okay. So at this point, we're looking to schedule a staff meeting, conditioned upon them establishing an escrow account to be used to pay the service for the services of the professionals. Our professionals will be in that staff meeting.
Correct. That was one of the points I was going to address, is that an escrow needs to be established to cover those costs.
Okay, which would include two board members and some planning commission members, up to 3 planning commission members.
Sure.
And we'll schedule that virtually.
Yeah, so I think that will be fine.
Yeah. Okay. So you'll work on getting that scheduled.
Yes.
So at this point, we would need a motion to move forward with approving of a staff meeting with an escrow to be established by the applicant, and that the manager reach out to the applicant and schedule a meeting with the applicant, 2 members of the board, 3 members, up to 3 members of the planning commission, LTL.
Mhm.
Dan would be involved in that. Anybody else on our side?
Can't think of anybody.
Traffic, do we need traffic engineer involved at that point?
We will. I think the pre-application meeting, I think that it's sufficient
Okay,
to have the engineer, and then that's definitely going to be a
okay.
topic.
Dan, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think Erica covered it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Rick made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, who is that? Harv?
Spencer.
Spencer. Sorry, Spence. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. So you'll reach out and get that ball rolling?
They'll
and-
handle that, sure. Mhm.
Okay. Any questions before we do move on? Any questions from the public on this? Any comments? Okay. Hearing none, we're going to move into the administrative portion of the meeting. First up is from supervisors. Rebecca, will go to you first. Do you have anything you want to bring to the board's attention?
Yes, it was brought to my attention that the shrubs that come out of the suburban shopping center, as you're heading northbound and coming to the stoplight by the bank, if you look left, the shrubs are obscuring the view of the traffic coming in. I'm wondering if that can be trimmed back.
Yeah, we can contact the property owner.
That's all. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Rick, do you have anything?
The only thing I'd like to say is that last Wednesday when we had that storm blow through, we had a lot of trees down on 724. And I just want to reach out and say thanks to the volunteers that stopped with some chainsaws and machines to help clear the trees. And Officer Holiday was down there and lended a hand. And everybody worked together, very well and got the road back open after a short period of time. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that stopped to help. It was very nice of them.
Okay, thank you. The only thing I have, a couple of things. Fire company is actually holding their meeting tomorrow night in person. It's going to be held in the social room. Everybody who attends is required to wear masks. They are going to limit the number of people there to 25, which certainly should not be an issue. There'll be plenty of room in that in the social hall for proper social distancing measures to be acted on. I am unfortunately not going to be able to make that meeting, but I've been talking to the fire company continuously, and I'll stay in contact with them. I did see Representative Tim Hennessy had released a list of fire companies that had received grant money, and Norco was not on that list, and he's doing some due diligence to find out why and what happened and how they can get some of that grant money. So I'll report back on that next time. Pottstown Metropolitan Regional Planning Commission held their meeting virtually last Wednesday, or 2 Wednesdays ago. It was a little challenge. It was our first time meeting virtually. It was a little challenge getting on the Zoom, but the meeting went pretty well. It focused mainly on two intersections that were the result of a traffic study that the region had performed last year. There was 2 experts on there talking about how to improve those intersections. One is High Street and Moser Road. And I'm drawing a blank on the second one was up in, I would say Douglas or New Hanover is further north, but that was that. And I believe I'm not sure if there's a meeting next month. Normally the Regional Planning Commission takes the summer off, but since we've had most of the spring off, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'll report back on that in the future. EAC, John, you want to weigh in on the webinars that are upcoming? I see John Worst on here.
Hey, Jim. Yeah, I'm happy to.
Good.
Thank you. Yeah, so the Environmental Advisory Council has put together a series of just instructional, informational webinars that we're going to be conducting. The first one will be actually a week from tomorrow night. Corey Trago was one of he's not on the EAC officially, but he's a very talented young guy, resident of North Coventry Township. He's giving the first of the webinars, and then we've got 3 more scheduled after that. And so I know Erica has helped out a lot with that. And actually, Erica, I wanted to say thanks. The flyer you put together was very creative. I like it a lot. But yeah, we want to get that posted up on the township website, get it onto Facebook, and then we'll be sharing it with other area EACs and other organizations around the area, who may have an audience that would be interested in that. And I'm hoping that Patty is going to help me out and get some of those flyers actually posted at the kiosks in the parks.
That's a safe bet.
Okay, thanks, John. And while you mentioned Patty, Parks and Rec Commission was to hold their meeting last Wednesday, but because of the storm, that meeting got postponed, and it's going to be held on this Wednesday, 7:30. I already posted the link on the website for attending that meeting. And John, the EAC links, and I've already put up.
Oh, great. Thank you, Jim.
I've already posted to the website. Let me just double check and make sure I'm telling you the right thing. Yes. So.
Right. And since those are scheduled on sort of a monthly basis, I think what we'll want to do is then refresh the post,
Yes.
in advance of each of the webinars that's upcoming.
Yeah, so I put it on here. I put all of them under one. And as we go forward, this went out today to Twitter, it went out to Facebook. And as we approach each of these, I'll be posting continuously on Facebook and putting them out there. I'll schedule auto posts, so they'll post throughout the summer.
Great. Thanks so much, Jim.
Yep. Okay. And then that's all I have. Harv, do you have anything?
Yeah.
And Spencer.
I just have one thing. If I hadn't mentioned it before, the July 30th Town Tour and Village Walk of Fernbrook has been canceled. It'll be held next year.
Okay. Spencer, what's going on with Historical Commission through all this? What have you guys been doing, if anything?
Well, we were working towards this Town Tour and Village Walk. That was the major thing that was occupying our time. I can't think of anything else offhand that we're working on.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Dan.
So the only thing I have is I have been in touch with Mr. Corey with respect to Tripodi, and we're trying to coordinate a time to get in touch and communicate with Judge Mann. I don't know whether he wants us there personally. I would think he just wants some communication to begin enforcement of the order once and for all. The Chester County courts did open as of last week, so hopefully we can expedite the matter. That's all I have.
Okay. Hey, do we need an executive session at any point coming up for some of the personnel issues that we had spoken of in the past?
Well, that's a good point, and I do think, based on what I've heard of over the last week, I do think it would be prudent to have a personnel meeting, executive session.
Is that something we can do tonight after this meeting, or is that something you want to schedule to be ready for in the next few days, or what's your pleasure?
I could do it this evening if you want, if everybody's available. It's up to everybody else. I certainly am prepared to deal with it today.
Okay. I mean, it's only 7:20. I think we
Yeah,
probably
I know. I'm
should.
and also trying to get the record. I know that we have a record of, I think, 27 minutes of a meeting. I'm trying to get it under there here.
Yeah. All right. So we can do that. Once the meeting adjourns, I'll just ask those who are, who are attending to sign off, and when we get it down to the 7 of us, I guess we'll have the executive session.
Okay.
Okay, and that'd be just personnel, correct? Nothing else?
Correct.
All right.
Right.
Okay. Public comment, anything from the public? Going once, going twice, public comment, anything? Okay.
Jim, I'm sorry, before any meeting, would you like me to go over any updates that I had
Oh,
in my report?
Erica, I am so sorry.
That's all right.
I don't have anything printed. I have scribbles on my thing and I
That's
skipped
okay,
over
no
you.
problem.
I'm sorry. Yes, please do.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to mention, I mean, we're in the yellow phase, so that was discussed as far as what everyone is dealing with COVID. So we're working our way through that. Just to give a little overview, in the yellow phase, telework is definitely encouraged, and we're still doing our remote meetings here. Retail, as you're probably noticing, is opening up with safety orders. Childcare is opening up with safety orders as well. The stay-at-home order is lifted. Restaurants and bars may be open for outdoor dining, and we are watching closely. These next 2 weeks specifically are the ones that are measured pretty closely in terms of going into the green phase. So we'll watch that and get the guidance on what that actually is going to mean in terms of CDC guidelines in place. And I know the Parks and Rec meeting for Wednesday, perhaps we'll talk about how we want to handle park facilities and different things going on. But, as far as the parks being open for passive recreation, that all still continues, but organized play in general is not encouraged at this time and not really sanctioned. So, but we have a few weeks, hopefully, before we get to that point. Again, I reiterate thanking the first responders and public works department, fire company, our fire marshal, volunteers for their efforts. It was a really powerful storm that came in Wednesday, very high winds up to 90 miles per hour in our area. And the outages we experienced were significant, variety of closures. Right now, I think there were 20 outages last time I checked, and North Coventry Township is taken care of for right now. So we're thankful for that. Laurelwood Road Bridge Project, GPS construction mobilized June 1st, and they have started milling the road and doing the demolition of the concrete to do the repair to the bridge itself. The Public Works facility, we had our warranty inspection last week on June 3rd, and that went rather well. We had our punch list of a few items, and everyone seemed cooperative in handling that. So we have about 2 weeks for working with them to get some minor repairs done. And the Parks and Rec Commission, a couple announcements, some good news. We received a grant in the amount of $22,500 from the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation for the Coventry Trail. So that would go towards some engineering and design activities associated with that project. And then a grant award through the PA Fish and Boat Commission, $29,750 for the Riverside Boat Dock project. So we are waiting on some funding through DCNR, or an announcement, I should say, being very optimistic to fund that project. And then that is matched by the Schuylkill River Greenways Association. So we'll see about that. That should be by the fall. We'll hear about that. John and Jim covered the EAC webinar series, And the Township Financial Outlook, we are doing our reconciliation of the accounts for May, and we'll be prepared to discuss performance for the next meeting. So that covers my report for this evening. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Maybe I'll edit you and I'll move you up into the meeting.
That's all right.
All right, very good. So we give one more last chance for public comment. If anybody has any comments or questions on what Erica just said. Hold on.
Jim, this
Yes.
is Patty Worth. I just wanted to also thank all of the volunteers, many Parks and Rec Commission members and others that got into the parks pretty quickly after the storm. We had some serious storm damage, particularly in Coventry Woods, and much of that is already cleaned up. And they were big jobs. I can provide some photos if need be, but I just wanted to publicly thank everybody that got in there to do that in such a timely manner.
Very good. Thank you, Patty. Okay, so at this time, we are going to recess the meeting, and I'm going to ask those of you who joined us to sign off. Thank you for joining us here tonight. We'll be back here in 2 weeks' time. Check the website for the link and the agenda, and we'll see you then. Thank you. Okay, so we're back recording again to end our meeting. So at this time, we are going to adjourn the meeting and see everybody in 2 weeks. Stay safe, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Sayonara.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi,
Thanks, Spence.
Good
good night, Rick.
Good night.
Good night.
night, all.